Yeah.
I knew something was wrong with the 7-Eleven outside of Marietta when I noticed the scratch marks on the inside of the front door. They weren't random. They were words carved deep into the metal. Count everything. The regional manager who hired me said the last 3 guards had quit without notice, and before that, one had died of a heart attack on shift. He was 26 years old and had no history of heart problems. They found him behind the counter at 3 a.m., eyes wide open, staring at the register screen, his face frozen in an expression of absolute terror. My first week was normal enough. Truckers and the occasional drunk from the bar 6 miles down. Then, last Tuesday, a woman came in at 3:33 a.m. and put 7 items on the counter. I scanned them. Energy drink, lottery ticket, beef jerky, chips, candy bar, gum, and a magazine. But when I looked up to tell her the total, she was staring at me with this strange smile, and she whispered, "You miscounted." There were 8 items. I looked down. There were still 7.
Shit!
I counted again out loud.
Hello!
7. She leaned closer, her smile getting wider, and said, "Count again. Look very carefully." That's when I saw it. Something between the candy bar and the gum. Something that hadn't been there a second ago. It looked like a small wooden box, old and stained, with something scratched into the lid. Before I could focus on it, the woman grabbed my wrist, her grip ice cold, and said, "Every night someone brings 7 items. Every night there's an 8 you can't see at first. You have to acknowledge it. You have to scan it. Because if you miss it, then you become it." She left without paying, without taking her items. When I checked the security footage, she was never there. But the wooden box was still on my counter. And when I finally worked up the courage to read what was carved into the lid, I saw my own name, Tyler Webb. That was 3 weeks ago. I'm still working here because I can't afford to quit. My mom's medical bills aren't going to pay themselves. And jobs in Washington County are scarce if you don't want to work at the Walmart in Belpre or gut fish down at the Muskingum River. But every shift, I find new scratches on that door. New words.
Chat! On the spam ready! Spam ready! Spam ready!
Then became instructions.
Chat! Everybody spam ready! Spam ready!
The box is still here too. It sits under the register, and I can't bring myself to open it or throw it away. Sometimes I hear something moving inside it, like dried leaves scraping against wood. Sometimes it's heavier than it should be.
Purple up, chat! Purple up!
Someone walks through that door with exactly 7 items. I've learned the rules the hard way. Some I figured out myself. Others were left for me in places I'd rather not talk about.
Fully active, one selling
headshot. Because you're thinking about taking the night shift at the 7-Eleven on State Route 26, just outside Marietta, don't. And if you're already here, then God help you. Because you're going to need these rules to make it until dawn. My shift starts at 11. I drive up Route 26 from my mom's place in Lower Salem, passing the Warren Township Fire Department and the boarded-up gas station that used to be a Sunoco before the floods in 2004. The 7-Eleven sits alone at the intersection where 26 meets Buell Road, surrounded by cornfields that belong to the Hutchison family. During the day, you can see the Muskingum rolling past in the distance, brown and slow. At night, there's nothing but darkness, and the buzz
Chat,
of the
make sure
parking
you follow me
lot
on the
lights
purple app.
attracting
Everybody go up
mobs
on the
the
purple
size
app.
of my thumb. I park my Chevy by the dumpster, never out front. That's for customers.
Chat, ready?
And grab my thermos of coffee. The door handle is always cold, even in August. I push inside and the bell chimes. That same electronic ding that probably hasn't changed since this place opened in 1989. Jerry Kosnick, the evening shift guy, is already putting on his jacket. Quiet tonight, he says, not meeting my eyes. He never does anymore, not since I told him about the woman with 7 items. They find anything on the cameras? I ask, even though I know the answer. Corporate says the system had a glitch. Whole hour just gone. He zips his jacket up to his chin despite the heat.
Chat, member,
Look,
everybody,
Tyler, I'm
come
gonna
up
be
the
straight
place.
with
Now
you.
hear me, everybody hear me properly,
My
though.
cousin works at the
Now hear me
courthouse in
properly.
town. He pulled some
Now
records
hear me
for
good,
me.
now hear me good.
This place, the
Let me
land
test
it's
mic and
built
everything,
on. I know, I say. I looked it up myself. Jerry nods. Then you know about the shepherds
Yo,
of the
Chick
8th
Shack
day.
and active, man.
Everyone in
Everybody
Washington
top of
County
the
knows the
screen.
stories,
Yes, big up yourself,
even if
man.
most people think they're
Hello,
exaggerated.
Yeah.
In 1967, a preacher named Virgil Thorne bought 80 acres out here and started a commune. They called themselves the Shepherds of the 8th Day because they believed God rested on the 7th day, but the 8th day was when he'd return to collect his chosen ones. Thorne convinced 7 families to give up everything and join him. By 1969, all 7 of them were dead. The official story said it was contaminated well water, but my grandfather, before the dementia took him, used to say the state police found altars in the barn and symbols carved into every doorframe. My cousin said they never found Thorne's body, Jerry continues. And the 8th family, the one that was supposed to complete the circle, they backed out at the last minute. Reported the whole thing to the sheriff. What's that got to do with this place? Jerry glances at the scratch marks on the door. The barn stood right where the coolers are now. They bulldozed everything in 1988, paved it over, built this store. But Tyler, the thing is, my cousin said there were complaints. Even back then, before the store opened. Construction workers kept finding offerings.
Alright, chat.
Little wooden boxes buried in the foundation. They threw them all away, but he stops. Looks at the register. How many boxes have you found? Just the one. You sure about that? I'm not sure about anything anymore. Jerry leaves, and I'm alone with the hum of the refrigerators and the smell of old hot dogs rotating under the heat lamps. I do my opening routine, count the register, check the coffee machines, make sure the nacho cheese dispenser isn't growing anything. Everything normal. Everything fine. Then I see the notebook. It's wedged between the lottery ticket dispenser and the cigarette rack. A composition notebook with a black and white cover.
Chat, I like female,
kind
everybody
used
come
in
from where big up on
elementary
yourself,
school.
you know it's us.
I don't remember seeing it before.
Is it?
When I pull it out, it falls
Everybody
open
ready
to
for
a
the live,
page
everybody we are
covered in
tuning in.
handwriting. Not one
Lika,
person's handwriting,
Carisha, big
but
up
several
yourself, you know
different
it's
styles,
us.
like multiple people had written in it. The first entry is dated April 3rd, 2019. Rule 1. Count every item a customer brings to the counter. Count out loud. If there's an 8th item you didn't see at first, acknowledge it and scan it. The register will ring it up as $0. Do not question this. The next entry is dated June 12th, 2021. Rule 2. If someone asks you to make change for a $100 bill after 3 a.m., count the money they give you carefully. If you count it 7 times and get a different amount each time, give them back their original bill and tell them the register is locked. Do not open the register. Do not look at their face while you do this. There are more rules, written in different hands, different inks. Some entries are desperate, barely legible. Others are calm, almost clinical. The last entry is dated February 8th, 2024, 2 weeks before the guard who had the heart attack. Rule 3. Between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m., if you hear knocking on the back door by the storage room, count the knocks. If there are exactly 7, do not answer. If there are 8, you must open the door within 10 seconds. You won't like what you see, but it's worse if you don't look. I'm still reading when the bell above the door chimes. I look up. A man walks in, wearing overalls and boots caked in mud. He nods at me and heads straight for the beer cooler. I watch him grab a six-pack, then grab a bag of chips, then beef jerky, then a lighter, then a pack of gum, then a candy bar, then a bottle of aspirin. 7 items. He walks to the counter and sets them down. I start scanning, counting under my breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I look up to tell him the total. That'll be... He's staring at me with that same smile the woman had. Count again, he whispers. My hand starts shaking as I look back down at the counter. There are 8 items now. Between the beer and the chips, there's another wooden box. The wooden box sits between the Budweiser six-pack and the Lay's chips, like it's been there the whole time. It's identical to the one under my register. Same dark wood, same stains that might be water damage, or it might be something worse. I can see scratches on the lid, but I can't make out what they say from this angle. Well, the man says. His voice sounds like gravel scraping against concrete. You gonna scan it or not? My hand hovers over the box. The scanner trembles in my grip. Every part of me is screaming not to touch it, but I remember what the woman said. If you miss it, then you become it. I grab the box. It's warm, body temperature warm, like something living had been holding it. I scan it. The register beeps. The screen shows item 8, $0.00. Smart boy, the man says. He pulls out a 20, sets it on the counter, and walks out without waiting for change. The bell chimes. Through the window, I watch him cross the parking lot toward the cornfield. He doesn't get into a car. He just walks into the corn and disappears. I check the security monitor. The screen shows an empty parking lot. No man, no car.
Yo, remember the dog a swag man
to
to in a chat, so you can't look like a riff-raff, you know, you have a full image to,
The
you know.
wooden box is still on the counter.
Now look what idiot
I
style,
pick it up with both hands this
You have to
time,
smell good,
turning it to read the
See me, I
scratches
said?
on the lid.
They're on the artist,
The letters are crude, carved with something sharp.
Is it?
Michael Pruitt. I don't know anyone named Michael Pruitt. I pull out my phone and search the name with Washington County, Ohio. Michael Pruitt, age 24, died on February 23rd, 2024. The obituary says he passed suddenly, survived by his parents in Maxburg and a younger sister in Belpre. I search deeper, find a news article from the Marietta Times. Local man dies of apparent heart attack while working night shift. The guard who died before me. The one they found behind the counter at 3 in the morning. I set the box down next to the first one, the one with my name. 2 wooden boxes now, sitting side by side under the register. I grab the notebook Jerry left and flip through more pages, looking for anything that might tell me what these boxes mean. Rule 4 is written in neat cursive, dated October 17th, 2022. If a customer leaves items on the counter without paying, arrange them in the order they were scanned.
Set up tough.
Leave them there until sunrise. Do not put them back on the shelves. Do not touch them after midnight. At dawn, they'll be gone. I look at the items the man left. 7 items, arranged in a line across the counter. The beer is already starting to sweat condensation. I check my watch. 11:47 p.m. A little over 6 hours until dawn. Rule 5 is in different handwriting, dated January 9th, 2023. The storage room door locks from the inside. If you find it unlocked when you arrive for your shift, do not open it. Call the day manager and leave immediately. If you're already inside the store when it unlocks itself, stay behind the counter. Whatever comes out will leave you alone as long as you don't acknowledge it. I walk to the back of the store. past the refrigerated section with the energy drinks and the sad rotating hot dogs.
The
Storage room doors at the end of a short hallway, next to the bathroom that's plastered with out-of-order signs that look older than I am. I try the handle. Locked. Thank God. But then I notice something else. There are scratches around the door frame, same as the front door. Words carved into the paint and plaster. They need 8 counts, or become the barn remembers. If you like the stories, please hype the videos from a button like this just above the comment section. It helps the videos to get more reach and perform well. It would take just a few seconds and cost nothing, but would help the channel grow even faster. Thank you. I head back to the counter, my sneakers squeaking on linoleum. The store feels bigger at night, like the walls have moved back a few feet when I wasn't looking. The fluorescent lights are doing that thing where they make everything look slightly wrong, slightly yellow, like old photographs. I pour myself coffee from my thermos and open the notebook again. Rule 6 is written in panicked scrawl, barely legible. If the register drawer opens by itself, count the bills in each slot. There should be exactly 7 of each denomination. If you count 8 of anything, take the extra bill and burn it in the parking lot. Use the lighter from behind the counter, not your own. Make sure every piece turns to ash. Do not let the wind carry any of it into the cornfield. The register sits quiet. I stare at it, wondering if it's going to pop open on its own, but nothing happens. Outside, a semi-truck passes on Route 26, its engine fading into the distance. Then silence again. The kind of silence that feels like it's waiting for something. At 12:33 a.m., a woman comes in. She's maybe 60, wearing a fleece jacket with the logo of People's Bank on it. She grabs a fountain drink, fills it with Diet Coke, and brings it to the counter. Just this, she says, setting it down. I scan it. 1 item, normal transaction. I tell her the price, and she pays with exact change. She leaves. I watch her get into a Honda CR-V and drive away toward Marietta. The security camera shows the whole thing. Normal, real. But when I look back at the counter, there's something next to the register. A small square of paper folded once. I don't remember seeing it before. I unfold it. The handwriting is shaky, written with what looks like a dried-out pen. Rule 7. At 3:33 a.m., someone will bring 7 items to the counter. There will be an 8th item you cannot see at first. You must acknowledge it. You must scan it. But this time, you must also open the box. Inside, you'll find something that belongs to you. Something you thought you lost. Take it. Put the box with the others. If you refuse, if you don't open it, the next box will have someone else's name on it. Someone you love. I read it 3 times. My mind goes immediately to my mom, sleeping 50 miles south in Lower Salem, her oxygen machine humming beside her bed, the medications lined up on her nightstand, the bills I can barely pay, even with this job. The paper isn't signed. No date. But at the bottom, someone drew 7 small circles in a row, and then an 8th circle off to the side, separated from the others. I check my phone. 12:41 a.m. Less than 3 hours until 3:33. I look down at the boxes under the register. Mine and Michael Pruitt's. 2 wooden boxes that radiate a warmth that has nothing to do with the temperature of the store. I can hear something inside the moil, faint, but distinct. Not the sound of dried leaves anymore. It sounds like breathing. The semi-truck passes by again on Route 26, heading in the opposite direction this time. I watch its lights disappear around the bend toward Warren. When I look back at the notebook, there's a new entry on the page. Fresh ink, still wet. You're running out of time, Tyler. The 8th day is coming. I didn't write that. The handwriting isn't mine. It isn't any of the previous writers either. I grab my phone and text Jerry. Who else has keys to this place? He responds immediately, like he was waiting for me to ask. Just you, me, and the district manager in Parkersburg. Why? Someone's been in here, writing in the notebook. 3 dots appear, then disappear,
quick and fast.
then appear
No
again.
joke, dog. You missed it,
Finally.
bro. No joke.
No one's been in there, Tyler. We're the only ones who can get in. Well, we're the only living ones. I stare at that message for a long time. The store is completely silent except for the refrigerators cycling on and off. I walk back toward the storage room, compelled by something I can't explain. And that's when I see it. The door is open, not just unlocked. Open, about 6 inches, enough to see darkness inside. I know I locked it. I checked it myself 20 minutes ago. Rule 5 said if it unlocks itself, stay behind the counter. Whatever comes out will leave me alone, as long as I don't acknowledge it. But the door is already open. Does that mean something already came out? I stand in the hallway, staring at that 6-inch gap. The darkness inside the storage room is complete. Thicker than it should be, like it's made of something solid. Then I notice the smell. Not the usual stink of cardboard and cleaning supplies. This is organic. Dirt and old wood and something else. Something rotten. A shape moves in the darkness, not walking out, just shifting, repositioning itself. I back away slowly, keeping my eyes on the gap. Rule 5 said don't acknowledge it. Does looking at it count as acknowledging it? I turn and walk back to the counter, forcing myself not to run, forcing my breathing to stay even. When I get back to the front, I glance at the security monitor. The camera pointed at the hallway shows the storage room door. Closed. Locked. Like it never opened. But I can still smell it. Dirt and decay. At 1:15 a.m., a pickup truck pulls into the parking lot. I recognize it. Billy Carpenter, who works maintenance at the Maxburg School District. He comes in once a week for cigarettes and Mountain Dew. Normal customer. Normal transaction. He walks in, nods at me, grabs his usual items from the cooler. But when he approaches the counter, he's carrying 7 items. Not his usual 2. I start scanning. Energy drink, candy bar, bag of peanuts, pack of gum, lighter, scratch-off ticket, bottle of water, 7 items. That'll be $18.47, I say. Billy pulls out a 20, hands it to me. I give him his change, and he leaves without a word. Normal. Fine. I watch him drive away on the security camera. But when I look back at the counter, there's an 8th item, a photograph. It's old, faded, the kind printed on that thick paper they used in the 70s. It shows a group of people standing in front of a barn, 7 adults, their faces solemn, wearing plain clothes. Behind them, barely visible in the barn's entrance, is an 8th figure, blurred, indistinct, wrong. I flip the photo over. Written on the back in pencil, The Shepherds of the 8th Day, June 1968. Thorn Farm. My hands shake as I set the photograph down next to the 7 items Billy left. The items that are supposed to stay there until dawn. Now there are 8 things on my counter that I'm not supposed to touch. The boxes under the register are warm against my legs. I can hear that breathing sound more clearly now. In and out. Patient. Waiting. I check my watch. 1:33 a.m. Exactly 2 hours until 3:33. The storage room door is closed on the security monitor, but I can still smell that rot getting stronger. And now I can hear something else. Not breathing, not footsteps. Counting. Someone in the back of the store is counting, out loud, very slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A pause. Then the voice continues. 8. The voice stops counting. The silence that follows is worse than the sound. I grab my phone, my finger hovering over Jerry's number. But what would I even say? That I'm hearing voices? That the storage room opened by itself? He'd tell me to leave, call corporate, get out. But Rule 7 is clear. At 3:33, someone's coming with 7 items. If I don't open the box, the next one will have my mom's name on it. I can't leave. I stay behind the counter, watching the security monitors. All 4 cameras show normal views. Empty parking lot, quiet aisles, the cooler section with its rows of energy drinks and beer, the hallway leading to the storage room. The door is closed. Everything looks fine. But the smell is still here. That rotten dirt smell. Getting heavier. At 1:47 a.m., the register drawer pops open on its own. I jump back, nearly knocking over my coffee. The drawer sits there. Bills arranged neatly in their slots. Coins sorted by denomination. Rule 6 said, if this happens, I need to count the bills. There should be 7 of each. If there are 8, I have to burn the extra. I lean over the drawer, my hands shaking. Start with the ones. I count them twice to be sure. 7 $1 bills. The 5s are next. 7 10s. 7 20s. 7. But when I get to the 50s, I count them 3 times, moving each bill to make sure I'm not seeing double. 8 $50 bills. The extra one is at the bottom of the stack. It looks older than the others, the paper slightly yellowed, the ink faded. I pick it up and hold it to the light. Grant's face stares back at me, but something's wrong with it. The expression is off. The eyes are too wide. The mouth curves in a way that might be a smile or might be something else entirely. I flip it over. Someone has written on the back in pen, Virgil Thorne, 1968. My hands are trembling as I grab the lighter from the shelf behind the counter. Not my own, like Rule 6 specified. I walk toward the door, the bill clutched between my fingers. Outside, the October air is crisp, carrying the smell of dying corn stalks from the Hutchison fields. The parking lot is empty except for my Chevy and a few moths still circling the lights. I set the bill on the pavement, flick the lighter, watch the flame catch. The bill burns faster than it should, the paper curling and blackening in seconds. I make sure every piece turns to ash, remembering the rule. Don't let the wind carry any of it into the cornfield. When it's completely gone, I grind the ashes under my shoe and head back inside. The register drawer is closed. I didn't close it. I know I didn't close it. I check the security footage, rewinding to when I was outside. The camera shows me walking out, burning the bill, coming back in. But just before I reach the door, the footage glitches. One frame shows the register drawer open. The next frame, it's closed. Nothing in between. And in that glitched frame, there's someone standing behind the counter. I rewind it, pause on that single frame. The figure is blurred, indistinct, but I can make out enough. A man in plain clothes, his face in shadow. He's reaching toward the register. I zoom in as much as the grainy camera allows. His hand is touching the drawer, fingers spread wide. I count them. 8 fingers. I switch off the monitor, my heart pounding against my ribs. The store feels smaller now, the walls pressing in. Every sound is amplified. The refrigerator's humming, the ice machine in the corner dropping cubes into its bin. The tick of the clock above the coffee station. 2:03 a.m., an hour and a half until 3:33. I pull out the notebook again, flipping through pages I haven't read yet. Most of them are dated, chronicling months or years of night shifts. But near the back, I find pages that aren't dated at all. The handwriting changes from entry to entry, like different people wrote them at different times. One entry catches my attention. They're not trying to hurt us. They're trying to complete what was started. Virgil Thorne and his shepherds needed 8 souls for the ritual. They got 7. The 8th was supposed to be Martha Klein, but she refused and called the police. The ritual stayed unfinished. The 7 who died are stuck, waiting. Every night, they try to find their 8th. Every night, shift worker becomes a candidate. Below that, in different handwriting, I found the original farm records at the Historical Society. The Klein family sold the land in 1970, 2 years after the raid. It changed hands 4 times before being sold to developers in 1987. When they dug the foundation for this store, they found 7 wooden boxes buried in a circle. The construction foreman threw them in the dumpster. 3 weeks later, he died in a car accident on Route 7. Single vehicle collision, no explanation. Another entry, this one barely legible. The boxes keep coming back. You can't destroy them. You can't throw them away. They'll always return, and each one has a name. When your name appears, you have 2 choices. Open the box at 3:33 or refuse and watch someone you love get marked instead. Michael refused. His sister's name appeared the next night. She died a week later, drowned in her bathtub. She was a competitive swimmer. I read that last line twice. Michael Pruitt's sister. The obituary mentioned her. She lived in Belpre. My phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. Your mother's oxygen machine is making a strange sound. I call my mom immediately. It rings 4 times before she answers, her voice groggy. Tyler, what's wrong? Mom, are you okay? Is the oxygen machine working? What? Yes, honey. It's fine. Why? Just checking. Go back to sleep. I hang up. Look at the text again. The message is still there, but when I try to reply, the number shows as invalid. Another text comes through. Same unknown number. 1 hour and 27 minutes. I set my phone down, face down on the counter. My hands won't stop shaking. I pour more coffee from my thermos, but it's cold now, bitter. I drink it anyway. At 2:18 a.m., headlights sweep across the parking lot. A sedan pulls in, parks near the door. The driver gets out, and even from inside, I can tell something's wrong with the way he moves. Too stiff, too precise. He walks to the door. The bell chimes. When he looks up at me, I recognize him. It's Michael Pruitt. But Michael Pruitt is dead. I read his obituary. I'm holding a box with his name carved into it. Evening, he says. His voice sounds hollow, like it's coming from the bottom of a well. I can't speak. Can't move. He walks past me, heading straight for the cooler section. I watch him on the security monitor. He moves through the aisles, picking up items. Energy drink, beef jerky, chips, gum, candy bar, pack of crackers, bottle of water. 7 items. He brings them to the counter and sets them down in a perfect line. When he looks at me, his eyes are wrong. Not the color, not the shape, just wrong. They're focused on something behind me instead of on me. You should scan them, he says. You're dead, I whisper. I am. Then what are you? What you'll be if you don't open the box. He taps the counter, right where the wooden boxes sit beneath. Michael Pruitt refused. He thought he could protect his sister. But you can't protect anyone. The ritual needs 8. It always needs 8. If not you, then someone else. Someone you love. What happens if I open it? You fulfill what was started. You become the 8th. And then it ends. Ends how? He doesn't answer. Just stares at me with those wrong eyes. I start scanning the items, my hands moving on autopilot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I look up, and between the crackers and the water bottle, there's another wooden box. This one is different. Smaller. Newer. The wood isn't stained or weathered, and carved into the lid in fresh letters. Diane Webb. My mother's name. Michael, or whatever's wearing his face, smiles. You have until 3:33 to decide. Open your box and take what's inside, or refuse and open hers instead. He walks toward the door. Before he leaves, he turns back. For what it's worth, he says, I'm sorry. I thought I was protecting her. I thought if I refused, they'd stop. But they never stop. They'll never stop until there are 8. The bell chimes. He's gone. I look down at the 2 boxes on my counter. Mine and my mother's. The photograph of the shepherds of the 8th day sits between them. Those 7 solemn faces staring up at me. And behind them, that blurred 8th figure in the barn doorway. I pick up my mother's box. It's cold. So cold it burns my fingers. I can hear something inside, faint but distinct. Her voice, calling my name. I set it down, my whole body shaking. Check my phone. 2:41 a.m., 52 minutes until 3:33. The notebook sits open on the counter, and as I watch, new words appear on the blank page. Ink spreading across paper like blood seeping through gauze. The choice was never yours to make, Tyler. It was made in 1968, when Martha Klein refused. Every night shift worker since then has been a placeholder, a potential 8th. You can delay it, pass it on, but you can't stop it. The ritual must complete. The only question is, who pays the price? The writing stops. The store is silent except for my breathing and the hum of the coolers. Then, from the back of the store, I hear that voice again, counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A long pause. 8. The storage room door starts to open. The storage room door swings open completely, hitting the wall with a dull thud. I can see inside now, past the threshold where the fluorescent light doesn't quite reach. There's movement in there, multiple shapes, shifting in the darkness. They start to emerge. 7 figures, walking in single file. They move slowly, their footsteps making no sound on the linoleum. As they pass under the hallway light, I can see them clearly. Men and women in plain clothes from another era. Homespun dresses, work shirts and suspenders. Faces pale and expressionless. The shepherds of the 8th day. They walk past the refrigerated section, past the candy aisle, straight toward the counter, toward me. I want to run, want to bolt out the front door and never come back, but my legs won't cooperate. Rule 5 echoes in my head. Whatever comes out will leave you alone as long as you don't acknowledge it. But how do I not acknowledge 7 dead people walking through the store? I fix my eyes on the register screen, on the glowing numbers that show the last transaction. I don't look at them directly. Don't speak. Don't move except for my breathing, which I can't seem to control. They reach the counter, form a semicircle around it, surrounding me on 3 sides. I can smell them now. That dirt and rot smell, but also something else. Smoke, like a fire that burned decades ago, but never quite went out. One of them leans forward. A woman, maybe 40 when she died, with her hair pulled back in a severe bun. She places her hand on the counter, inches from mine. Her fingers are gray, the nails broken and caked with soil. Martha Klein was supposed to stand with us, she says. Her voice sounds like wind through a cracked window. She was chosen. She refused. 57 years we've waited. I keep staring at the register screen. Don't acknowledge them. Don't respond. Another figure moves closer. A man with a thick beard and hollow eyes. We gave everything to Brother Virgil. Everything. He promised us salvation on the 8th day. But the ritual wasn't complete. We're stuck, halfway between what we were and what we were promised. Every night we reach out, the woman continues. Every night we try to find the 8th, to finish what was begun, to free ourselves from this waiting. A third voice, younger, male. Your name was written in the book. You were marked the moment you started working here. This land remembers. The ground remembers. I risk a glance at the security monitor. The camera shows the counter from behind, shows me standing there alone. No figures, no dead cultists. Just me and the empty store. But I can feel them. Their presence like a weight on my chest, pressing down, making it hard to breathe. Open the box, Tyler Webb, the woman says. Take what belongs to you. Complete the circle. And if I don't, the words slip out before I can stop them. Silence. Then, from all 7 of them at once, then we take the next name. They turn in unison, moving back toward the storage room. I watch them file into the darkness, one by one, until the last figure disappears. The door swings shut. The lock clicks. I check my phone. 2:53 a.m. 40 minutes. My mother's box sits on the counter, that terrible cold radiating from it. I can still hear her voice inside, faint but desperate, calling for me. My hands hover over it, but I can't bring myself to touch it again. I grab the notebook instead, flipping frantically through the pages. There has to be something, some way out, some loophole in these rules. Near the very back, I find a page that's been torn out and taped back in. The tape is yellowed, old. The handwriting on the page is different from all the others. Shaky, urgent. My name is Martha Klein. If you're reading this, then you've been marked like I was. In 1968, Virgil Thorne came to my family's farm and asked us to join his shepherds. My parents refused, but I was curious. I was young and stupid, and I thought he had answers to questions I didn't know how to ask. He took me to his barn one night, showed me the circle he'd drawn, the 7 families who already committed themselves. He said I would be the 8th, the completion. He said on the 8th day, God would come and take us to paradise. But when I saw what he meant by take us, I ran. I called the sheriff. They raided the farm 3 days later, found all 7 families dead. Virgil was gone. They searched for weeks, but never found his body. The land was cursed after that. Bad things happened to anyone. I moved away, changed my name, tried to forget. But they never stopped looking for their 8th. I see them sometimes in dreams. 7 figures standing in
this man.
If you're reading this, you need to know. There is a way to break the cycle, but it requires destroying what they left behind. The boxes are anchors, pieces of the original. Each box contains something from one of the 7. A lock of hair, a tooth, a fingernail, physical pieces that tie into this world. But there are more than 7 boxes. They've made hundreds over the years, each one a potential vessel. You have to find the original 7, the ones buried beneath the barn floor. That's where it started. That's where it has to end. The entry stops there. The next page is blank. I read it twice, my mind racing. The original 7 boxes are buried beneath the barn floor, but the barn was bulldozed in 1988. The 7-Eleven was built over it, which means the boxes are somewhere beneath this building, beneath me. I think about the foundation, the coolers, the layout of the store. If the barn stood where the coolers are now, then the floor, the place where the ritual happened, would be right under the storage room. The storage room where 7 dead cultists just retreated. My phone buzzes. Another text from that unknown number. 38 minutes. The choice is simple. You or her. I look at my mother's box, then at mine. Both sitting on the counter like twin bombs waiting to go off. At 3:01 a.m., a car pulls into the parking lot. Not a car I recognize. A dark sedan with tinted windows. It parks directly in front of the door, engine running. No one gets out. I watch the security monitor. The camera shows the sedan, shows the exhaust rising in the cold October air. But I can't see inside. The windows are too dark. The driver's side door opens. A woman steps out. She's elderly, maybe 70, wearing a long coat despite the mild weather. She walks toward the store with slow, measured steps. When she reaches the door, she looks up at me through the glass. I recognize her face from the photograph, from the research I did after reading Martha Klein's entry in the notebook. It's Martha Klein herself. She's not supposed to be alive. According to the records I found, she died in 2003. Car accident in West Virginia, 20 years after she wrote that entry. The bell chimes as she enters. She walks straight to the counter, moving with a confidence that makes my skin crawl. When she speaks, her voice is clear and strong. "Hello, Tyler. I've been waiting to meet you." "You're dead," I say. "I am. Died on Route 50, just past Parkersburg. Hit a deer and went off the road. But death doesn't end things, Tyler. Not when you've been marked. Not when you've refused your place in the circle." She looks down at the boxes. "I see you've met them. The shepherds. They said you were supposed to be the 8th. I was. I should have accepted it. Should have completed what they started. Instead, I ran. I condemned them to this half-existence, and I condemned myself to something worse. What do you want? To help you avoid my mistake." She reaches into her coat and pulls out an old photograph, sets it on the counter. It shows the same barn, the same 7 people. But this photo is taken from inside the barn. You can see the circle drawn on the dirt floor, the symbols at each point. And in the center, a larger symbol, an 8-pointed star. "The original 7 boxes are still down there," she says, "under the storage room floor. Virgil buried them at each point of the circle. If you destroy them all at once, burn them together, the ritual breaks. The shepherds can move on. Everyone marked gets freed." Why are you telling me this? Because I can't do it myself. I'm bound by the same rules they are. But you're still alive. You still have a choice. I look at the clock. 3:14 a.m. 19 minutes. What happens at 3:33, I ask. the veil is thinnest. That's when they have the most power, when they can reach furthest into our world. If you open your box, then you complete the ritual. You become the eighth, and they move on. If you refuse, they mark someone else, your mother in this case. And if I destroy the original boxes, everyone goes free. You, your mother, Michael Pruitt's sister, everyone who's ever been marked. The ritual ends permanently. How do I find them? Martha Klein smiles, and for the first time, she looks sad, tired. You dig, Tyler. You dig where the center of the circle was, under the storage room, beneath the concrete. You'll find them. She turns and walks toward the door. Wait, I call after her. How much time do I have? She glances back. 19 minutes to decide. After that, the choice is made for you. The bell chimes. She's gone. The sedan pulls away, disappearing down Route 26. I stare at the photograph she left, at that 8-pointed star in the center of the circle. Then I look at the clock. 3:16 a.m. 17 minutes. I grab the fire extinguisher from behind the counter and run toward the storage room. The storage room door is locked again, but I'm past caring about rules. I slam the fire extinguisher into the handle once, twice, 3 times. The metal bends, the lock mechanism breaks, and the door swings inward. The smell hits me first. That rot and dirt combination, but stronger now, concentrated. I flip the light switch. Nothing happens. The darkness inside is absolute, thick enough that my phone's flashlight barely penetrates it. I step inside anyway. The beam from my phone illuminates stacks of cardboard boxes, metal shelving units, industrial cleaning supplies. Everything looks normal, mundane, but the floor beneath my feet feels wrong. There's a coldness radiating up through the concrete, like standing on ice. I check my phone. 3:19 a.m. 14 minutes. I start moving boxes, clearing space in the center of the room. According to Martha's photograph, the ritual circle's center point would be right here, approximately 10 feet from the door. I shove aside cases of chips, stacks of receipt paper, jugs of window cleaner. My hands are shaking, and I'm sweating despite the cold. When I've cleared enough space, I drop to my knees and examine the concrete floor. At first, it looks like any other floor, poured concrete, slightly stained, with small cracks running through it. But when I move my phone's light at an angle, I see something else. Symbols. Faint, almost invisible, but there. Carved into the concrete before it fully hardened, then smoothed over. They form a circle about 6 feet in diameter, with smaller symbols at 7 points around the perimeter. And in the center, that 8-pointed star. I press my hand against the star. The concrete is freezing, so cold it burns, and I can feel something underneath. A hollow space, a void where something should be solid. I need to break through. I run back to the front, grab the crowbar we keep for opening crates, and return to the storage room. The clock on my phone reads 3:21, 12 minutes. I jam the crowbar into one of the cracks near the star symbol and start prying. The concrete is old, weakened by decades of temperature changes and settling. A chunk breaks free, then another. I'm making noise, probably too much noise, but I don't care. I dig faster using the crowbar to smash and pry, pulling up pieces of concrete with my bare hands. 3 inches down, I hit something that isn't concrete. Wood. I clear away more debris, revealing a section of wooden planking, old barn wood, weathered and dark. This is the original barn floor, buried beneath the 7-Eleven's foundation. The developers didn't excavate deep enough. They just poured concrete over the existing structure. which means the boxes are still here, exactly where Virgil Thorne buried them in 1968. I pry up the first plank. It comes loose with a screech of rusted nails. Beneath it is nothing but dirt. Black dirt that smells like decades of decay. I dig with my hands, feeling around in the cold earth. My fingers hit something solid. I pull it out. A wooden box, identical to the ones on my counter, but older, more degraded. The wood is soft, partially rotted. I can barely make out the carving on the lid. A name I don't recognize. One of the original 7 shepherds. I set it aside and keep digging. The next box is 3 feet to the left, buried at one of the circle's points. I pull up more planks, dig through more dirt. The second box comes free, then the third. I'm working faster now, frantic, checking my phone every few seconds. 3:26 a.m., 7 minutes. The fourth and fifth boxes are buried deeper, like Virgil wanted to hide them better, or like he knew someone might try to dig them up. My hands are bleeding, splinters embedded in my palms, but I keep going. I can hear something now, coming from all around the storage room. Whispers, multiple voices speaking in unison, saying things I can't quite make out. The sixth box is the hardest to reach. It's buried under what feels like a stone slab, something heavy that I have to lever up with the crowbar. When I finally get it loose, I see why. The box underneath is different, bigger, and carved into its lid isn't a name. It's that 8-pointed star. This is Virgil Thorne's box, the one that was supposed to contain the 8th offering. I leave it there and find the 7th box at the far edge of the circle. Now I have 6 boxes in a pile, plus Virgil's larger box still half buried. 7 boxes total. The original anchors of the ritual. My phone. 3:29 a.m. 4 minutes. I need to burn them all at once. Martha said burn them together, break the ritual permanently. I grab the boxes, start carrying them toward the front of the store. They're heavier than they should be, and they're getting warmer. I can hear sounds inside them now. Scratching. Movement. I pile them behind the counter, next to the 2 boxes that appeared tonight, mine and my mother's. 9 boxes total now. I grab the lighter from the shelf, the same one I used for the $50 bill. The boxes don't burn easily. I need accelerant. I run to the automotive section, grab 3 bottles of lighter fluid, spray it over the boxes. The chemical smell mixes with the rot smell, making me gag. I flick the lighter, hold it to the nearest box. Nothing happens. I try again. The flame touches the wood, licks at the lighter fluid. The fluid should catch instantly, but it doesn't. The boxes won't burn. 3:31 a.m. 2 minutes. You can't burn them, a voice says behind me. I spin around. All 7 shepherds are standing in the store, arranged in a semicircle. They look more solid now, more real. The woman with the severe bun steps forward. We're bound to those boxes, she says. They won't burn while we exist, and we won't stop existing until the ritual completes. Then, how do I destroy them? You don't. You finish what was started. She points at my box, the one with my name. Open it. Take your place. Free us. No. The clock above the coffee station changes. 3:32 a.m., 1 minute. I look at the boxes piled on the floor, at the 7 shepherds standing before me, at my mother's box, still on the counter, her voice still calling faintly from inside. There has to be another way. Then I remember something from Martha's entry. The boxes contain physical pieces, hair, teeth, fingernails, physical anchors. They tie the shepherds to this world, but they also tie the shepherds to each other, to the incomplete ritual, If I can't destroy the boxes, maybe I can break the connection between them. I grab the crowbar and swing it at Virgil's box, the one with the 8-pointed star. The wood splinters. Something inside screams. Not a human scream, but something older, angrier. I hit it again, smashing the lid completely. Inside is dirt. Just dirt. But buried in the dirt is something that gleams in the fluorescent light. I reach in and pull it out. A knife. Old. The blade rusted. The handle carved with symbols. The ritual knife. The one Virgil used in 1968. No. The woman says, her voice rising. You can't. You don't understand what you're doing. Tell me. The shepherds look at each other. Finally, the bearded man speaks. Virgil used that knife to seal the ritual. He cut his own palm, mixed his blood with ours. The 8th was supposed to do the same. Mingle their blood with the original 7. Complete the circle. The knife is the key. Without it, the ritual can never finish. I look at the blade, at my reflection distorted in the rusted metal. The clock changes. 3:33 a.m. The front door opens. I look up. A figure walks in, silhouetted against the parking lot lights. As it moves into the store's fluorescent glow, I see who it is. It's me. Not a ghost. Not a spirit. Me. Exactly as I am, wearing the same clothes, the same scared expression. It walks to the counter and places 7 items down in a perfect line. No, I whisper. The other me reaches between 2 of the items and pulls out a wooden box. My box. It sets it on the counter and looks at me with my own eyes. Time to choose, Tyler, it says in my voice. Open the box, complete the ritual, or watch your mother die. The 7 shepherds move closer, forming their circle around the counter, around me, around my doppelganger. I grip the ritual knife tighter. The blade is cold, so cold it numbs my fingers. But I understand now. The 8th offering was never meant to be a victim. It was meant to be a choice, a willing participant. Virgil Thorne couldn't force anyone to complete the ritual. That's why Martha's refusal broke it. That's why Michael Pruitt's refusal prolonged it. The 8th has to choose freely. But if the knife is destroyed, if the method of sealing the ritual is gone, then no one can ever complete it. The shepherds would be trapped forever, but so would everyone they've marked. An eternal stalemate. Unless there's a third option. I look at the knife, at my doppelganger, at the 7 waiting shepherds. Then I look at my mother's box. Inside, her voice is getting louder, more desperate, calling my name. I think about her in Lower Salem, sleeping peacefully, unaware that her life hangs on a decision I'm about to make. I think about Michael Pruitt's sister, drowned in her bathtub because her brother refused. I think about all the people who've been marked over 57 years. All the names carved into boxes that keep appearing. The knife in my hand feels heavier. Significant. I have 1 minute to decide. 1 minute to choose who lives and who becomes the 8th. My doppelganger smiles with my smile. What's it going to be, Tyler? The 7 shepherds begin to chant. Low, rhythmic words, in a language I don't understand. The boxes on the floor start to rattle. My mother's box vibrates on the counter, her voice now screaming my name. I close my eyes, and I make my choice. I open my eyes and drive the ritual knife straight through my mother's box. The wood splits with a crack like breaking bone. The screaming stops. The box falls silent. My doppelganger's face contorts, twisting into something that doesn't look human anymore. What have you done? I'm not choosing, I say. Not you. Not her. Not me. This ends tonight, but not the way any of you want it to. I pulled a knife free and drive it through my own box. Then through Michael Pruitt's. Then through each of the 7 original boxes, one after another, stabbing the blade deep into the wood. With each strike, the chanting gets louder. The shepherd's forms flicker, becoming translucent. You're destroying the anchors. The woman with the bun says, her voice fading. You're severing us from the physical world. Good. But you don't understand. Without the anchors, we can't move on. We can't complete the ritual. We'll be trapped in the in-between forever. And so will everyone we've ever marked. I pause, the knife raised for another strike. What do you mean? The bearded man's form is barely visible now. The boxes are anchors, yes. But they're also doorways. The ritual needs them to complete, but it also needs them to release us. By destroying them without completing the ritual, you've trapped us all. My doppelganger laughs and the sound is wrong. Too many voices layered on top of each other. You thought you found a loophole, Tyler. But there is no loophole. There's only the choice. Accept your place as the 8th, or condemn everyone to an eternity of waiting. I look at the destroyed boxes, at the knife in my hand, at the 7 shepherds, now barely more than shadows. Then I'll find another way. There is no other way, the woman says. Virgil Thorne made sure of that. He studied the old rituals, the ones that predate written history. He knew what he was doing. The only way to free the 7 is to complete the circle. And the only way to complete the circle is to have an 8th who chooses freely. I finish. Martha told me. Then you know what you have to do. I grip the knife tight. About Michael Pruitt's sister. About everyone who's been touched by this curse. Then I think about Jerry's words from earlier. About the construction foreman who threw away the 7 original boxes and died 3 weeks later. About the records at the Historical Society. Jerry mentioned someone, I say. The farm's original owner. The one who opposed Virgil Thorne. The shepherds go silent. His name was Samuel Klein, Martha's grandfather. He called the police. He tried to stop the ritual. What happened to him? None of them answer. Tell me, or I destroy the knife. Then none of us get free. Ever. The bearded man's shadow speaks. His voice barely a whisper. Samuel Klein knew things. His grandmother was Shawnee. She taught him about the sacred grounds, about the protections that existed before white settlers came. When Virgil chose this land for his barn, Samuel tried to warn him, but Virgil didn't listen. What kind of protections? This land was a boundary place, a thin spot between worlds. The Shawnee knew not to build on it, not to disturb it. Virgil thought he could use that power for his ritual, but he didn't understand that the land itself has rules. Rules older than his ritual. I think about Martha's entry in the notebook, about her grandfather's journals, about a counter-ritual. Where's Samuel Klein buried? The cemetery, Warren Township, 3 miles from here. I check my phone, 3:37 a.m. The sun won't rise for another 3 hours, but I don't need the sun. I need Samuel Klein's journals. And if Martha mentioned that his granddaughter still lives nearby, I pull out my phone and search. Samuel Klein, granddaughter, Washington County. The first result is a woman named Elizabeth Sawyer, age 78, living in Little Hocking. Her obituary for Samuel Klein from 1989 lists her as his only surviving grandchild. I call information, get her number, dial it. It rings 4 times before a woman answers, her voice alert despite the hour. Hello? Miss Sawyer, my name is Tyler Webb. I'm sorry to call so late, but I work at the 7-Eleven on Route 26, the one built on your grandfather's farm. Silence. Then, you've seen them, haven't you? The shepherds. Yes. What time is it? 3:38 a.m. You have less than 4 hours. At dawn, the choice expires. Whatever decision you make becomes permanent. Martha Klein wrote about a counter-ritual, something your grandfather learned from his grandmother. He did. I have his journals. I've been waiting for someone to call. 3 guards before you quit without asking questions. 1 died without understanding what was happening. But you're the first to look for answers. Can you help me? I'm already on my way. I'll be there in 20 minutes. Don't let them convince you to complete the ritual. Don't let them trick you into thinking it's the only way. She hangs up. I look at the shepherds. They're more substantial now, like they've gained strength from my phone call. The woman with the bun shakes her head. The old ways won't work, she says. Samuel tried. He performed his grandmother's ritual the night after the police raided the farm. It didn't stop us. We're still here. Maybe he didn't complete it. Or maybe, my doppelganger says, it was never strong enough to begin with. Virgil's ritual is rooted in belief, in sacrifice, in blood. What can some old folk magic do against that? I don't answer. Just hold the knife and wait. 23 minutes later, headlights sweep across the parking lot. An old pickup truck pulls in, and a woman climbs out. She's elderly but moves with purpose, carrying a worn leather satchel. When she enters the store, she looks at the shepherds, at my doppelganger, at the destroyed boxes, and nods like she expected all of it. Tyler Webb? Yes, ma'am. I'm Elizabeth Sawyer. My grandfather told me about this place before he died. Told me that one day someone would need his help. I've been maintaining his journals, keeping them safe just in case. She sets the satchel on the counter. The shepherds are right about one thing. Grandpa Samuel did try to stop them the first time, but he didn't have all the pieces. He had the knowledge from his grandmother, but not the tools. What tools? She opens the satchel and pulls out several items. A bundle of dried sage, a small clay bowl, a leather pouch filled with what looks like tobacco, and an old photograph. Not the one Martha left, but similar. This one shows the farm before the barn was built. Just open land, with 7 large stones arranged in a circle. The Shawnee called this place Kitanin, at the Great River, Elizabeth says. It was sacred ground, a place where spirits could cross between worlds during certain times of year. The stones marked the boundaries. They kept the crossing controlled, safe. When settlers came, most of the stones were moved or destroyed. Virgil Thorne found 3 of them and used them in his barn's foundation. He thought he was harnessing their power, but he was actually breaking the boundary. She looks at the shepherds. You're not trapped because the ritual is incomplete. You're trapped because the boundary is broken. You're stuck between worlds with no way forward or back. How do we fix it? I ask. We restore the boundary. The stones are still here, buried in the foundation. If we can mark them properly, reconnect them with the old protections, the crossing will open again. The shepherds can move on naturally, without needing an 8th offering. My doppelganger laughs. It won't work. We've been here for 57 years. We're too entangled with Virgil's ritual. Maybe, Elizabeth says, but it's worth trying. Unless you'd prefer to wait another 57 years. She starts unpacking more items from the satchel. Packets of herbs, small bones wrapped in cloth, a jar of what looks like creek water. She arranges them on the counter in a specific pattern. This ritual needs to be performed at the exact spot where Virgil held his ceremony, in the storage room, at the center of his circle. We'll need to burn these offerings at each of the 7 points, then mark the stones beneath with the old symbols. If it works, the boundary will restore itself. If it doesn't, she doesn't finish the sentence. I check my phone. 3:58 a.m. 2 hours until dawn. How long will this take? An hour, maybe more. But Tyler, you need to understand something. This ritual requires someone to act as a bridge. Someone who's been marked but hasn't chosen. Someone who can stand between the worlds and hold the door open while the shepherds cross. Me. Yes. And there's a risk. If the boundary doesn't fully restore, if something goes wrong, you could get stuck between worlds with them. You become what they are, neither living nor dead.
Shot for me, enemy there.
Destroyed boxes. At the knife still in my hand. At my mother's box, cracked and silent. What are my chances?
They must say a change in life, you see me?
I don't know.
They must say a change in
My
life.
grandfather never got to try this. But it's the only option besides completing Virgil's ritual. The 7 shepherds move closer. The woman with the burn speaks. Why would you risk yourself for us? We've tried to hurt you. Tried to trap you. Because this isn't about you, I say. It's about everyone who comes after me. Every night shift worker at this store. Every person who might get marked in the future. This ends tonight, one way or another. I look at Elizabeth. Tell me what to do. Elizabeth leads me back to the storage room. The hole I dug in the concrete floor is still there. The broken wooden planks visible beneath. She kneels beside it and starts arranging her materials. The sage, the clay bowl, the herbs and bones. First, we need to find the stones, she says. They'll be directly beneath the 7 points of Virgil's circle. Can you show me where you found the boxes? I point to the spots where I dug up each box. Elizabeth pulls out a piece of chalk and marks each location. Then she draws lines connecting them, forming the same circle I saw in the photograph. At the center, she draws the 8-pointed star. My grandfather's note said the stones were limestone, about the size of a human head. The Shawnee marked them with symbols representing the 7 directions: north, south, east, west, up, down, and center. The center stone was the largest. That's where you'll need to stand. She starts digging at the center point with a small trowel from her satchel. I help her, using the crowbar to break through more concrete and planks. About 2 feet down, we hit something solid. A stone. Gray limestone, worn smooth by centuries, and carved into its surface is a symbol that looks like a spiral, with 7 lines radiating from it. That's it, Elizabeth whispers. The center stone. Help me clear the others. We work quickly, digging at each of the 7 circle points. Each stone is there, exactly where her grandfather's note said they'd be. Each one marked with a different symbol. By the time we've exposed all 7, plus the center stone, it's 4:23 a.m., less than 2 hours until dawn. Elizabeth arranges the sage and herbs around each stone, placing the small bones between them. She pours the creek water from the jar in a thin line connecting all 7 points, completing the circle. Then she lights the sage, and smoke begins to fill the storage room. The smoke will attract them, she says. The shepherds. They'll be drawn to this space because it's where the ritual began. When they're all here, you need to stand on the center stone and call to them. Invite them to cross. You're the bridge, Tyler. You have to hold yourself between worlds long enough for them to pass through. How do I do that? She hands me a small leather pouch. This contains tobacco mixed with mugwort and yarrow. my grandmother's recipe. When you're ready, hold this against your chest and breathe in the smoke. It will open you to the other side. But Tyler, once you open yourself, you have to close yourself again before dawn. If you're still open when the sun rises, you'll be locked that way, stuck between worlds. I take the pouch. It's warm, like something living. And if the shepherds don't cross, then we're all trapped. Them, you, everyone who's been marked. This is the only chance we have. The smoke from the sage is getting thicker now. I can see shapes moving in it. The 7 shepherds, drawn like Elizabeth said. They materialize one by one, standing at the 7 points of the circle. My doppelganger appears too, standing just outside the circle's edge. You're really going to try this? It asks, and for the first time, it sounds uncertain. Yes, you'll die. Or worse, maybe. But at least I'll know I tried something other than running or choosing. I step onto the center stone. The limestone is cold beneath my feet, and I can feel something radiating from it. A pulse, like a heartbeat. The smoke swirls, and the shepherds begin to chant, outside the circle, watching. I press the pouch against my chest and breathe. Everything changes. The story but it's inside. I can see through the walls to the sacred circle of stone. That's darkness between all. A space where exists. The shepherds its faces. They're people scared to be intelligent and not trapped. I see them.
Leak out the subs!
For 57 hours.
I want to go.
The box is gone. We can't cross on the enemies. I've literally flesh. Start. Virgil Thorne brought something he didn't understand. But the thing still.
What am I getting?
Just what was
Shut the spam is coming! Spam is coming!
I'm standing in the tender stone at the crossing point. The down eyes open. You can she's back. Like Virgil's name. Behind sacrifice. You can just let go. Yes, you can. You want a choice. You have to borrow Virgil. Choose to lose. I hold my hand. My fingers touch. I feel her. All of her. Her name is Patricia Yoder. She had 3 children. She followed Virgil because she thought God would save them all. She died scared and confused and has been scared and confused ever since. It's okay, I tell her. You can rest now. She steps forward, walking into me, through me. For a moment, I feel her passing through my chest, through that space where the pouch rests. Then she's gone, not destroyed, just gone, moving on to wherever spirits go when they finally let go. The others see it happen. One by one, they step forward. The bearded man, Joseph Brenneman, the young man, Aaron Shetler. Each one passes through me, and each time I feel their entire lives, their fears, their hopes, their regrets. 7 lives lived and ended badly, now finally finding peace. The last one is the woman who spoke to me first at the counter. Her name was Emma Troyer. She was Virgil's sister. She followed him because she loved him and thought he knew the way to salvation. "Thank you," she whispers as she passes through. Then they're all gone. The storage room solidifies around me. The smoke clears. The stones beneath my feet stop pulsing. I look down at the pouch in my hand. It's cooler now. The spell, or whatever it was, is breaking. I can feel myself settling back into my body, back into the single version of reality where I belong. But something's wrong. My doppelganger is still here. It's standing in the circle now, at one of the 7 points. And it's becoming more solid, more real. "You forgot about me," it says. And now it doesn't sound like me anymore. The voice is deeper, older. I'm not one of the 7. I'm something else. Elizabeth sees it too. Her face goes pale. Virgil Thorne. The doppelganger's face shifts, becoming someone else. A man in his 50s, with hard eyes and a cruel mouth. I was never part of the 7. I was the architect, the one who designed the ritual. And I've been waiting, just like them, for someone to open the door. "You're dead," I say. "The police never found your body." "Because I never died. Not the way they thought. I walked between worlds before the ritual could complete, before the police could catch me. I've been in the in-between ever since, waiting for someone to open a door I could walk through." He steps toward me. I try to move, but my feet are stuck to the center stone. The pouch is still open against my chest. The doorway is still open. "Thank you, Tyler," Virgil says, "for freeing my shepherds and for giving me a way back." He reaches for me with both hands. Elizabeth screams something in Shawnee, a word I don't understand. She throws the clay bowl, and it shatters against the center stone. The creek water splashes across my feet. The stone beneath me pulses once, hard. Then the boundary snaps shut. Virgil Thorne's hands pass through me like smoke. He opens his mouth to scream, but no sound comes out. He's fading, being pulled back into the in-between. But this time, there's no door to escape through. The boundary is closed. The stones are reconnected. He's trapped in the nowhere space between worlds, alone, with no shepherds, no ritual, no way out. He vanishes. I collapse onto the concrete floor, gasping. Elizabeth helps me sit up. "Is he gone?" I ask. "Yes." The boundary is closed. He can't reach this world anymore. Neither can anyone else from the in-between. The stones are doing their job again. I check my phone. The screen is cracked. I must have dropped it while digging, but it still works. 5:47 a.m. 13 minutes until dawn. We walk back to the front of the store. The destroyed boxes are still there, but they're just wood now. No warmth, no breathing, no voices, just pieces of broken boxes. My mother's box is split down the middle. I pick up the pieces and look inside. There's nothing there. No lock of hair, no tooth. Nothing. It was never real, just a threat, a manipulation. Elizabeth gathers her materials, packing them back into the satchel. "You should go home, Tyler. Get some rest. You've been to places most people never see and never want to." "What about the store?" "I'll call corporate. Tell them the night shift position is permanently closed due to structural issues. They'll listen to me. My family still owns part of the land this store is built on. They have to honor some of the old agreements. I nod, too tired to argue. As I walk toward the door, I look back at the scratch marks on the inside of the glass. Count everything. But now, in the growing pre-dawn light, I can see there's more written below it. Scratches I never noticed before. The old boundary protects. The stones remember. Samuel Klein's work, his warning, his hope that someone would understand. The sun breaks over the Hutchison cornfields as I walk to my Chevy. The sky turns orange and pink, and for the first time in weeks, I feel like I can breathe. Behind me, the 7-Eleven sits quiet. Just a convenience store on Route 26. Nothing special. Nothing cursed. Just another place where people stop for coffee and gas on their way to somewhere else. I quit the 7-Eleven that morning, called Jerry from my mom's driveway in Lower Salem, and told him I was done. He didn't ask questions, just said he understood and that he'd probably have quit too if he'd had the guts to work a full night shift after everything he'd heard. Corporate closed the store for renovations 2 weeks after that night. According to the notice posted on the door, they found structural issues with the foundation that required extensive repairs. Elizabeth Sawyer made sure the repairs included properly sealing the storage room floor, concreting over the stones, and adding enough layers that nothing from beneath could ever reach up again. The boundary is closed. The stones are doing their work, holding the line between worlds the way they were always meant to. I drive past the store sometimes on my way to my new job at the packaging plant in Belpre. The 7-Eleven reopened after 6 weeks, and they staffed it with day shifts only. No more overnight workers, no more strange customers at 3:33 a.m. Just normal business hours for normal people buying normal things. The scratch marks on the inside of the door are gone. They replaced the glass. My mother asked me once why I seemed different after that night, why I looked tired in a way that sleep couldn't fix. I told her I'd seen something I couldn't unsee, learned something I couldn't unlearn. She held my hand and said that sometimes the world shows us things we're not ready for, but that doesn't mean we weren't strong enough to handle them. She's doing better now. Her oxygen levels have stabilized, and the doctors are cautiously optimistic. I can afford better medications with the plant job, and I don't wake up at 3:33 a.m. anymore, wondering if someone's putting items on a counter somewhere with my name carved into wood. Elizabeth Sawyer invited me to her house last week, served me coffee, and showed me more of her grandfather's journals. He documented everything. The Shawnee traditions his grandmother taught him, the history of the sacred grounds, the way white settlers had disrupted something they didn't understand and couldn't fix. You did what he always hoped someone would do, she told me. You restored what was broken. Not just for the 7 who were trapped, but for everyone who came after. She showed me a list she'd been keeping. Names of people who died or disappeared in connection with the farm over the decades. Construction workers, property owners, night shift workers at the store. 17 names total, going back to 1970. I've been checking on them, she said. The ones who are still alive anyway. The cursed symptoms they had: nightmares, paranoia, health problems that doctors couldn't explain. They're gone. Whatever mark the shepherds left on people, it disappeared when you closed the boundary. I think about Michael Pruitt sometimes, about how he died trying to protect his sister, not knowing he was just passing the curse forward. I think about the guards who quit before me, the ones who were smart enough to run, I think about Martha Klein, who spent her whole life running from a choice she made when she was young. I didn't run. I don't know if that makes me brave or stupid, but it makes me different than I was before. The wood box behind me is gone. I checked my apartment, my car, my mom's house. It vanished sometime between dawn and noon on that day, crumbling to dust or returning to whatever nowhere space it came from. Elizabeth says that means the mark is truly gone, that I'm free. But some nights, when I'm falling asleep, I still feel that moment when the 7 shepherds passed through me. 7 lives touching mine. 7 stories of faith twisted into fear. 7 souls finally finding peace after decades of waiting. I carry them with me now. Not as a curse, but as a reminder. Some boundaries exist for a reason. Some doors shouldn't be opened. Some rituals should stay unfinished. And some night shifts at gas stations are exactly as dangerous as they seem. The 7-Eleven on Route 26 outside Marietta is just a store now, nothing more. The land remembers, the stones remember, but they're keeping their secrets beneath concrete and fluorescent lights. I hope it stays that way. I hope no one ever digs that deep again.
Yeah.